So much for coming, everybody. This is Restore, and my name is Kim, and this class is super gentle, and I'll just guide you through some basic movement, breath work, and intention setting. But really, this is a time to pause and to shed some layers and just to pay attention, and maybe in a more deliberate way, to your present moment, which I think is really helpful right now, because we're like bing, bing, and like spinning, and I feel like we're, as a society, as a world, actually, we're in kind of a pressure cooker, and if you're prone to anxiety or depression or anything like that, this is like sending it through the roof. Even if you're not, right? It's a very difficult time. So I wanted to mention, as we move into our practice this morning, just a story that I heard that really resonated with me and spoke to me, and I wanted to share it with you because I think it's a good reminder. I've been listening to this online series with David White, this poet that I really love, and in the session last week, he was talking about compassion, and even for people we don't know. And he told a story about his mother who, as a child, her mother, so David White's grandmother, got really ill and died. And so as a young girl, losing her mom was a really challenging thing. But the story is pretty long, but essentially he talks about how his mother, that one experience really opened her up for compassion for other people. And she essentially walked through her life just assuming that she knew the hidden sufferings of everyone that she met. And what a beautiful thing, right? When you think about that and take that to heart, like, there is no human being that hasn't suffered immensely on this path. And she always held that in awareness when she would encounter, a barista, or walking down the street, or a neighbor, or maybe someone that was challenging. She would just assume that she knew and understood and felt their suffering. And I just wanted to offer that in our practice today. Maybe that's something that we collectively could move toward, as opposed to just hardening up or like putting up our dukes and assuming the worst of someone, right? Because I think we tend to do that. So why don't we go ahead and recline? You can start on your back. If you happen to have a bolster or a blanket, you could maybe place it underneath your knees. And we'll just begin here in this place of arrival and receptivity. You can open up your palms and let the body rest here. And as you move into this practice this morning, open and receptive to your own experience here. And we'll start with just a simple loving kindness mantra. And you can, of course, direct this initially toward the self. May you be safe and protected and free from inner and outer harm. May you be happy and contented. May you be healthy and whole to whatever degree possible. And may you experience the ease of well-being. And taking deep, full breaths into the belly and into the heart, really receiving this mantra, this sentiment, this prayer. Can you bring to mind someone that is close to you, whom you love? And direct this loving kindness mantra, this prayer to this individual. May you be safe and protected and free from inner and outer harm. May you be happy and contented. May you be healthy and whole to whatever degree possible. And may you experience the ease of well-being. And expanding one more time to include all beings everywhere, without exception, strangers, those we know, those we don't know. And offering this loving kindness prayer. May you be safe and protected and free from inner and outer harm. May you be happy and contented. May you be healthy and whole to whatever degree possible. And may you experience the ease of well-being. And taking about 5 more breaths here. Into the belly, into the heart, broadening your capacity for love, for compassion, for kindness. And on your next in-breath, will you stretch the arms up and back alongside your ears and just stretch top to bottom. Good. And then let's go ahead and hug the knees in toward the chest and just rock side to side. A little massage around your lower back, sacrum. You can circle the knees around a little bit, one direction, and then the other. Good. Let's bring the soles of the feet back to the ground and keep the knees bent. Let your hands rest on your lower belly and feel the breath move into this space. We're going to move with some gentle rocking of the pelvis, kind of similar to cat-cow on your back. So as you inhale, you'll rock the pelvis forward. So your pubic bone will move down away from the navel, and the lower back will lift and arch away from the floor. Then as you exhale, you'll press your low back into the floor and move the pubic bone toward the navel, lifting gently through the tailbone. And let's just gently move back and forth. Just a gentle rocking of the pelvis, massaging through the low back. The movement doesn't have to be huge. It can be really subtle. And if it doesn't feel good to move the pelvis and the low back in this way, you can just stay neutral and just visualize this movement. Moving in a way today that feels nurturing and loving and kind. Good. So take a couple more rounds in this way. And then let that go. Just come back to neutral. We're going to relax the arms down along our sides. And we're going to press the low back into the floor and start to tuck the tailbone and peel the lower vertebrae and the pelvis up and away from the ground to an easy bridge pose. When you feel like you've kind of reached maximum here, we're going to lower it back down. So one vertebra at a time, lowering back to the floor, letting the pelvis rest. And do that again. Once you've come back down, peel back up like links in a chain or a string of pearls, lifting up and then lowering back down. And again, this movement doesn't have to be huge. It can be more subtle. But articulating the vertebrae of the spine, mobilizing the muscles of the back. You can also choose to involve the arms here. So you can push through your feet, start to curl it up and reach the arms up and back. And that will lengthen the body and increase that capacity of your breath. So just move like a wave here. Inhale, floating up. And exhaling, coming back down. And just continue with this movement, peeling it up and away, and lowering back down. Good. And after a few rounds of this, I'd like for you to come into some version of a supported bridge pose. So if you happen to have a block or a bolster or anything that you can prop underneath your pelvis, just for a little elevation here. Good. So hips elevated higher than the heart. And then just allowing your body to soften here. Expanding the breath into your heart and your ribs and your belly. And also feeling the ground with the feet, the back of the head, the arms. Feel your breath continue to move through you like a wave. And where in your physical body could you soften a little bit more, be more relaxed or supported, letting go. A couple of variations you could take here. You could stretch the legs out. So you rest the heels of the feet on the ground. That's sometimes a nice stretch and arch here. Or maybe you take your legs up and elevate the legs into this supported shoulder stand. Okay, so nothing required or forced here. You can always just bring your feet back down to regular supported bridge, but we'll take our time. In this practice, there is no rush to get anywhere, no hurry. An invitation to be exactly here as you are. Good. So take a couple more breaths here in this supported bridge. And then if the legs are up or stretched out, bring the soles of the feet back to the ground. And I'd like for you to stretch the right leg out long to the floor, okay, stretching through the hip flexor and psoas and top of the thigh on that right side. The left foot can either stay where it is or pick the foot up and pull the leg toward your chest. Pull your knee toward your chest. This may or may not be accessible, but you can experiment with this stretch. Continue to soften and relax through your neck and your shoulders. You could even move this left knee a little bit side to side or in a circle. Couple more breaths on this side. And then we're going to release the left leg, stretch it out long next to the right leg. And then either bend your right leg and place the right foot on the floor, or pick up the right foot and hold on to the leg. You can hold on to the back of the knee or the top of the knee, pulling the right knee a little bit closer toward your chest. And while you might feel a stretch in your right leg, we're really focusing on the leg that's the side that's stretched out. Again, the psoas, the hip flexors, the top of the thigh. And you can also move that right knee a little bit side to side or in a circle. Good. Take a couple more breaths here. And then you're going to release the right leg, stretch it out next to the left leg. Reach both arms up and back alongside your ears. So you're stretching up and over your bolster or your block. And take your arms back down. Bring the soles of your feet back to the floor. And lift your pelvis, remove your prop, put it to the side. And let your spine hug back into the floor and hug your knees into your chest and rock side to side. Good. If a happy baby pose would feel good to you here, why don't you go ahead and pick up your feet, grab the outer edges of your feet and pull the knees out wide and down. Lengthening through your tailbone and your sacrum. Good. Take another full breath here, sending the breath down into the hips, into the pelvis. Release your feet to the ground, and let's take the feet a little wider than the hips to about the edges of your mat. Stretch the arms out wide like wings. And then exhale, let both knees drop to your right. Windshield wiper twist, and maybe drop your head or turn your head to your left. Let's hang out here for a breath or two. You're rolling to the outer edge of your right foot and the inner edge of your left foot. And then the knees come back up through center, and the knees drop to the left, and you'll turn your head to your right. So you're rolling to the outer edge of your left foot and the inner edge of your right foot. Good. And then on your own, will you gently move back and forth with your breath? And you don't have to do a certain number of rotations here. Take your time. Just feeling your body move in space in a way that is nurturing and kind. Good. And the next time your knees fall over to your right, go ahead and stay there for a moment, knees to the right, and you're going to pick up your right foot and ankle and let it rest on top of your outer left leg. So the right leg is adding a little bit of extra punctuation or weight to this stretch. The inner left knee drawing down. You might feel this in the outer left hip and lower back area. If it's too intense, if it's too much, then uncross your legs. And take another spacious breath here. You're going to continue to let the right leg rest on top of your left leg, but bring both knees up through center so you're in a figure 4 stretch. And the left foot might stay on the ground, or you can pick it up. Reach your hands around your left leg or left thigh. Or maybe somewhere in between, you could take your block or your bolster and prop your left foot up onto that. Kind of a happy medium, Goldilocks variation. And breathe here. And opening up into your right hip. Sometimes it's nice to rock this side to side. Can you take about 5 more deep breaths here in your reclined pigeon figure 4? And then as you're ready, everybody, go ahead and uncross the legs and stretch both legs out long to the floor. Reach the arms up and back and just do this little reset, whole body stretch. Arms will come back down. Bring the soles of your feet back to the ground, back to your mat. A little bit wider than the hips. Reach the arms out wide again like wings and allow both knees to drop to your left. So you're rolling to the outer edge of that left foot, the inner edge of the right foot. Pick up your left foot. Let it rest on top of your outer right leg. So you're, again, adding a little bit of weightedness on your right leg. If that doesn't feel good, then just uncross. Feeling the breath move down into the right side of your low back and waistline and hip and thigh. Softening around the edges. Good. Take another full breath here. And then you're going to take this whole structure back upright. So you're in a figure 4 stretch on the left side. Keeping the right foot grounded or picking it up and holding on to the right leg. Or, as we mentioned on the other side, placing a block or a bolster underneath your right foot for a little lift, but not too much. And you can keep your neck and your shoulders relaxed. Feel your breath. Maybe a little rocking side to side. Good. 5 more deep breaths here. Good. When you're ready, go ahead and uncross the legs. Stretch both legs out long to the floor. Reach and stretch your arms up and back and lengthen. I'd like for you to come over to your side, to either side, into a little nurturing fetal position for a few breaths. And then make your way back up to your seat. And we're going to transition to the hands and the knees. You'll come forward. If you need a little bit of padding underneath your knees, you can use a blanket or double up your mat in that section. And we'll start here with some gentle movement through cat-cow, opening the chest, a little lift of the tailbone. A rounding of the spine on exhale, chin to chest. And inhale, open the heart, a little back bend. And tuck and round your spine. Good, one more like that. Inhale, open, the belly drops, the tail lifts. And exhale, tuck and round. Broaden your shoulders and upper back. Come back to neutral, everybody. And we're going to take some big circles with the hips. So let's start by going clockwise, moving the hips back towards your heels, towards 6 o'clock, over to the left toward 9, and then forward to 12, and then over to the right, 3, and just feel into this movement, pausing anywhere along the way. You feel a nice stretch. Good. Pause where you are and go the other direction. This mindful, steady, easy movement, mobilizing a lot of our joints here, our hips and knees and shoulders, our spine. Good. And then let's come back to center, and we're going to shift down onto the right hip. And you can use a bolster with this pose, or you don't have to. You're coming into kind of this half pinwheel position with your legs. So I used to call this family photo pose. So it's the only time we do this, right? When we're like all dressed in denim and sitting in the grass. And anyway, so if you happen to have a bolster, you can place the bolster at the top of your mat and turn and face the bolster, lengthening through the spine and the ribs. And then you can recline on down onto the bolster. Good. So Leslie, move your right knee more toward Dustin and your hip more toward the bolster. Yeah, like that. Does that make sense? Yeah, perfect. Awesome. And so let the body rest here in this reclined twist. Deep, deep breath in and out. And with each and every exhale, there's something that you might release or let go of here. And if you'd like to move a little bit deeper in this twist, you might lift up and lengthen and turn your head the other way. So you'd come onto the left ear instead of the right. If that doesn't feel good, then just keep it as is. Can you take 5 more deep cleansing breaths here in your twist? And perhaps slowing the breath down, letting the body become a little bit more at rest for these last few breaths. Good. There's no rush, but as you feel ready, we're going to gently make our way back upright. And before we take that on the other side, turn away from your bolster, if you're using one, toward the back of the room. And slide the bolster right up against the sacrum and the tailbone and recline back into a goddess pose. Now, if you don't happen to have a bolster, you could use a rolled up blanket, or you could even place a block behind the heart and have a little heart opener lift there. You could also just come onto your back without any props. The legs can be stretched out, or you could bring the soles of your feet together into Baddha Konasana. So this would be a variation of Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle or cobbler's pose. And there really is a quality here of surrender and receptivity and opening, and allowing the heart to be wide open. And where Where can you soften? Where can you release and let go of? For these last few breaths, can you stretch and lengthen the legs out long to the floor and reach the arms up and back alongside your ears? Good. And then we're going to shift over toward our left side and set up for this twist on this other side. So you come over onto your left hip, your legs in that half pinwheel position. You'll turn the other way, face your bolster or whatever you're working with, and recline the body down. You can certainly just come to your left ear, allowing the body to be as relaxed and at ease as possible. And perhaps after a few breaths, you lift up a little bit and elongate the spine and turn your head the other way. So you're just coming a little bit deeper into your twist. So you would turn your head toward the left and come down toward your right ear. With each and every breath, and feeling into that cleansing and releasing quality, letting go. And let's take about 5 more breaths here in your supported, reclined twist. as you're ready, everybody, go ahead and make your way back up. And you're going to come onto your backs. So you can put your bolster aside, just make your way onto your back. And we are going to move towards Shavasana. So if there's any last little bit of stretching or any last finishing pose you'd like to work into, you can make your way into that. If you'd like to set up your props any particular way, the bolster behind your back or underneath your knees or along your spine, you can work with that. And coming into our final relaxation, Shavasana corpse pose. May you be safe and protected and free from inner and outer harm. May you be happy and contented. May you be healthy and whole to whatever degree possible. And may you experience the ease of well-being. You begin your own reawakening out of your corpse pose. You can stretch the body as you're ready and gently make your way to your side. And then back up to your seat on your mat. And on your next in-breath, let's go ahead and stretch up tall through the arms, fingertips, and then gather the hands at the heart. And with this invitation to all of us to become more compassionate, loving beings. And we'll finish with one round of Om. Take a full breath in. Namaste.